Hi. How's everybody doing? I keep hearing the Berkeley Highs in the house. Yeah, motherfucker, yeah. So I'm gonna do some poems and shit. Is that cool with y'all? We all heard it.
Wait, what?
Everybody hear me all right? Yeah. What about y'all? What about y'all? Y'all hear me okay? No. Test. If I keep it like this far away, can you hear me? Yeah. Shit all in my grill is not gonna work. Yeah. These are very expensive microphones, I'm sure. You should be able to work this far. So my name is Rafeal. I'm a poet, writer, rapper. So I've been out of the Bay for the last 2 years living in Wisconsin. Everybody reacts the same way, right? They're always like, why the fuck did you go to Wisconsin? I felt the same way. But it's actually a really dope place. The only thing is, see, in California, if your name is Rafeal, that's fine, because we got like a trillion Mexicans. Everybody knows how to say that shit just fine. In Wisconsin, however, my shit throws everybody off, especially because I look like this. Fuck with people. So I wrote this poem about my first time introducing myself to people in Wisconsin. So sometimes when meeting someone for the first time, my name can be somewhat of an issue. When he introduces himself as Bruce Johnson, and I say, "Hi, Bruce, nice to meet you. My name is Rafeal." "Ooh, Rafeal." Like, Rafeal! Rafeal! And this first kind of response, though really irritating, is not really what bothers me. It's the asshole kind of follow-up comment that I can't stand. "Is there anything shorter I can call you, like Raf or something?" No! No, there isn't anything shorter, Bruce. Would you like it if I called you Burr? And I know learning my name can be a little bit confusing because I'm not the 4-foot-tall, sewer-dwelling mutant ninja turtle that you were expecting. But staying in here for an extra minute while you get it right beats looking into my father's eyes every time he passes the phone to Raf, like a bit more of his culture dies every time I respond to that name. And I know that I do not want everyone to adopt my culture because Lord knows I hate being at work and getting some response email from someone who, in the midst of discussing business, feels inclined to practice their newly learned level 2 conversational Spanish on me after reading my name in the from box of the email. "Hola, Rafeal. We'll get those numeros to you as soon as possible." Bread. So I decide I'm going to walk around and fuck up the quote-unquote normal names for a little while and see how everybody feels. All Toms are now Tomas. All Joshes are now Jose. And all Bruces are also Jose. Just so people understand what knock is to Chinaka, what Michelle is to Uni, what Lulu is to Luara, I will not be your Ben, your mat for you to wipe your lack of patience on. Lord knows I've thought of changing my names to things like these for resumes and TV show titles just because I know the reaction a name outside of the American tongue can provoke. But no more lenience. I will not butcher my history for anyone else's convenience. Do not compromise my culture in the name of saving time. I learned how to say your name, Bruce. Take a minute and learn how to say mine. Asked like 15 spokes members in the back, like, y'all know where the water is? No, it's right there. I'm just talking shit. Anyone here got little brothers, nephews, godsons, godkids? So I got I wrote this piece for my godson, my nephew Sean. He's 6, big as shit. He was 3 when I wrote this, which means that he's much older now. He just did his first month of first grade this month, which is really exciting because he's been homeschooled up until this point. So he like just figured out what the fuck friends are. He's just running around like, look at that! I've never even seen this person before. And shaking their hands and shit. It's great. He has the worst sharer in the world though, as far as like toys and shit. Like he'll have his Spider-Man toy. If somebody else touches it, he gets this look on his face like no one's ever touched his shit before ever. No! So we're working on it. Anyway, so this piece is about my nephew Sean because when we put him in school, the first thing that I thought about was my experience in school. And I don't know if Berkeley High is still this way, if anyone else's high schools are still this way, or middle schools or elementary schools or whatever, but the first thing they do is like have very strategic ways of separating the kids who are going to fail from the kids who are not. It's fucked up, and it's funny to talk about, but it really happens. When you're younger, it's the GATE program. There's like those 30 kids that get on the bus every day and go to another school to get a better education. And when you get older, there's the tracking system where you realize you're in a class of just minorities, and then the class across the hall is all white kids, and you wonder how this just happened. It's a very strategic thing, and so I was worried about putting him in the public school system. That also, and just the things that teachers say to kids. I'm sure folks have heard, like, they're really bright, but they're just not getting the material. Or, you know, what they do sometimes is they pull parents aside and they'll say something to the effect of, you should get them tested for attention deficit, or something like that, where they, like, try to medicate kids. And so this is about that process. I'm watching 6 kids standing around a play structure that just abruptly stopped shooting out the water that they were playing with. My nephew Sean, years and feet behind his Insta friends at Cedar Rose Park, stands among the cluster of kids trying to summon the water back. And me and the other parents watch and laugh as they all try variations of Open Sesame at a non-responsive spout. I'm afraid one day they're gonna tell me that Sean has attention deficit, a disorder that 1 in 4 men are infected with. A band-aid on the mystery they wish to decomplicate, then medicate to accommodate the commonness of why he can't concentrate. Say in class, he seems lost. I say his mind has free sight. But nowadays we raise young ones to be much more machine-like. Because big industries need employees who are machines, right? Who don't make history, just live on some efficiency, height, march, and submission. That's the mission, keep the seams tight. Teach kids the repetition till they grow up industry types. Now here's my nephew. Homework in one hand, and the 2010 equivalent of Legos in the other. In this corner, an unbelievably blank, unanswered page of questions he could not be less engaged in. And in this corner, a 4-foot-long working replica of the Star Wars Millennium Falcon creatively constructed using 4 different Lego sets, retractable landing gear, and a working loading bay. Clearly, this motherfucker does not have a problem paying attention. He'd just rather be playing invention. So, as I investigate your motives for why you try to medicate him, I beg to question. Now let's do the equation. It's $24 for a bottle of Ritalin that lasts 1 month. That's 10 milligrams. That's $2,400 for every gram of Ritalin in the country. That's $2,400,000 for every kilo of Ritalin in the country, but they sell it. No, it's $2,400 for every gram of Ritalin in the country. That's $2,400,000 for every kilo of Ritalin in the country, times the 17,816 that were brought in and sold in the business pharmaceutical year of 2001 alone. That means back then, it was a $42,283,200,000 industry. It's brilliant. Teach kids that they're inferior, then have them buy back their efficiency. And at first, I thought attention deficit must be on some new epidemic shit till I found out the U.S. consumes globally 90% of it. Diagnose you inferior so the privatized medics get your money in a country where you go broke buying your benefits. And I don't want Sean to ever look up from his paper and wonder why everyone else is on page 15 and he's still on page 2. Because he's been off daydreaming about playing with dinosaurs and drawing Spider-Man till his fingers hurt and making Millennium Falcon masterpieces and had to snap out of his daydream just to satisfy you. Don't tell Sean he learns wrong. If minds didn't wander, we wouldn't have Gandhi for your spiritual revolution. No black power fish shaking at a crumbling divide. No Vietnam soldiers on their way home shit. Hip-hop came from kids who couldn't seem to pay attention. There'd be no jazz, no tap. Shit, we'd still think the world was flat if not for straying attention. And as I watch my now 6-year-old nephew's mind begin to wander as the rest of the kids bark secret code words at a non-responsive tap and hope to bring the water back, Sean, much younger and smaller than the rest, scans the playground, steps outside of the box and walks over and presses a shiny silver dollar-sized button on a red post, which reignites the water and shoots it into the palms of eager youngsters. He walks back to the group. Right then he could have been Rizal, Monet, Marx, Neruda, Malcolm, the one to step outside of the box and do something powerful. They are afraid of you, Sean, because you beg to question. Because boys like you grow into men worth a mention. Build a world with your blocks, draw in any direction, and if they ever tell you that you can't focus, good. Pay them no attention.
Come on.